In my experience dealing with residential leases, I've come to realize that a lot of tenants do not actually know the kind of documents they need to prepare for the qualifying process. In Ontario, the residential tenancy laws are very protective of renters, and as such, many landlords are very stringent when it comes to finding quality tenants. And if you want to increase the chances of finding a good rental property in the shortest amount of time, then these are the 4 main documents you need to prepare before visiting any property. First and foremost, you need to fill out a rental application. This is the most basic document letting the landlord know your rental history, who you are, where you work, and ultimately how many people are going to be occupying the unit you're looking to rent. There are many versions of this form out there. The official OREA form that licensed realtors use is called the Form 410. Now, you don't have to use this specific form if you're just looking by yourself, but just make sure whatever form the landlord wants you to fill out, it doesn't ask things such as your religion, disability status, or whether you're a smoker or an alcoholic, because these things should not matter when it comes to finding a tenant who can pay the rent. So, you passed the initial screening. Now what? Here comes arguably the most emphasized document of all, your credit score and report. These will tell the landlord if you have a healthy habit of paying off your bills, and if you have any major outstanding debt that should be of concern. Typically, a score of 730 or higher is considered good. Any scores below 690 would raise some concerns. You can obtain these information easily through the websites of Canada's 2 official credit bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion. There's a small fee involved, but trust me, it'll make you look a whole lot more legitimate as an applicant. Free websites or apps like Credit Karma, Mogo, or Borrowell generally works off of cache data, which isn't the most updated, and are generally not accepted by most landlords. These free scores are meant for consumers' own monitoring only, but the Bureau's data are what official lenders like banks use to qualify their lendees. Next, if you're working, you need to ask your employer or your company's HR department to write you an employment letter. This letter should be written on an official letterhead, signed, and contain information such as your position or title, your pay or salary, the type of contract you're on, and the length of your employment. And since any letter can be easily fabricated, this letter should also contain your employer or HR's contact info, in case if the landlord would like to verify any of the above. So, your employment information checks out, but are you taking a break from work? Are you temporarily laid off? Are you getting paid consistently? To alleviate these concerns, it is advisable that you also share your most recent pay stubs with the landlord to show that you are still actively working and that you have the income to support the rent. And if your workplace do not offer pay stubs, then you may have to share your bank statements to show that you have money coming in regularly. You may not prefer it, but there really isn't much the landlord can do with your statements alone, aside from knowing where you spent your money. And if it shows that you have a handsome amount of savings, it may work to your advantage. If you're working with a realtor, then they will be able to prep you more in details throughout the process. And in my opinion, there aren't a lot of downsides for renters working with realtors. You get a professional searching for you, you get access to a bigger database of units, you get to utilize their professional advice, they know how to protect you in a transaction. And best of all, the landlord usually pays for your realtor's commission. Now, there are landlords out there that likes to deal with tenants directly, but for the ones that use a realtor, they are more legitimate and credible because they're actually willing to spend the money to find a good tenant. The entire process of visiting properties and making offers can happen really quickly, especially for nicer homes with a lot of interest. Therefore, if you have these documents prepared, it will ensure your process is as smooth and efficient as possible. If you only started gathering these after you found the perfect home, well, sorry, it's already gone.